bad real quick. Look.
See the odds. It's time to bogart. My God, a real nigga. Cause he wasn't no flaw. Posted on the corner like a watchdog. Family secure. Got that shotty in the closet by the mob ball. Fuck what they heard. Tell them it's all true. Be cautious. That foundation falls till you fall through.
They gon' fall.
Look, I keep this shit 50. Time soon. Ain't no more heart in this game. I'm John Q. Colder than the avalanche. Way above average. Offense taste sweet. Told him make me an apple crisp. Left us in the valley full of bones. This where hope found. Child become a man. Dark sands get broke down. Riding through Evanston with Mark Quad. Telling me how them crackers turn his childhood to a ghost town. Focus out, nigga. I lay that game down. I feel his pain cause nothing is the same now. Let my light shine like heaven through a rain cloud. Glock have a fit like my child, no tangent. Try to warn them niggas we bear arms like tarantulas. Them other niggas raise I make anthems. I really seen prophets under this banner. Made my enemies bow down on camera. Told my design I wanted black and white like a panda. I'm better than that nigga that sunk dirty Diana. Look, I move like a Brazilian, precious cargo. Spirit ancient, but I got a new semi-auto. Wave that bitch around like where's Wardo. Sleep if they won't, I cut through they Z's like I'm Zorro. Pay me for his name, so I gotta keep that steel clutch. Trust me, I'm not what you think. I squeeze till it click like Dorothy when the heels touch. The world got me dumb, I don't feel much. Ride around with Yaradon, just left the state bridge. Looking for a bitch better than Baby's kid. Remember I dropped Quiet Storm, I've been gone ever since. Still in the field, fuck them niggas on the fence, yeah.
All right. Stop the music. Shalom, Israel. You live with the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Priest and Captain Soccer War holding down the class live from Memphis, Tennessee. Every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we have classes here in Memphis from 6 to 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. All our brothers and sisters tuning in. If you got family, loved ones, people you care about in the Memphis, Tennessee, and surrounding areas, get them in contact with the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Since 1969, we've been teaching so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians the truth according to the Bible. What is the truth? The truth is that so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians descend from the greatest people that have ever walked the face of the earth. The Bible identifies us as the lost 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. And in the year 2026, there's nothing more important than for God's chosen people to learn the truth of who we are, where we come from, and what our purpose is on this earth. So what we like to do with these classes is give brothers and sisters an opportunity to go into this book called the Bible to gain the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that the Most High has put inside of this book so that we can reclaim our righteous place on the earth. So we can come back to being the people he called us to be and reclaim our righteous place on the earth as kings, priests, princesses, and daughters of Zion. With that being said, any brothers and sisters have questions online, just type them in. If any brothers and sisters in the room have questions, raise your hand. If there are no questions, then we'll go into the topic of tonight's class. What you see on the screen is Den of Thieves. All right, Den of Thieves. I want to say shalom, Yahweh Shema, Thabashim, Yahushua to all the sisters. Yahweh Bashim, Yahushua, Barakatah to all the brothers. I see there's a question online from Sister Kapatazar. She wants to know, Salakia, sir, what does setteth light by his father or mother mean in Deuteronomy 27 and 16? All right, let's go ahead and get Deuteronomy 27 and 16, see if we can get an answer for Sister Kapatazar. Any of the questions like that you have, just type them in and I'll be able to respond to them like you see the sister did there, all right? So Deuteronomy chapter 27, verse 16. Okay. Okay. Okay, so setteth light, Kapatazar, is an old Quaker English It's an old Quaker English phrase that means like to treat somebody cruelly or to deal with them harshly, right? Like to okay, let's just read the verse and I'll break it down for you. It's Deuteronomy chapter 27, verse 16 says, "Cursed be he that setteth light by his father or his mother, and all the people shall say amen." Right? That setteth light term means to treat with contempt or to be cruel towards, to be evil towards. You understand? Somebody that disrespects their parents, somebody that doesn't acknowledge them as a parental figure. Meaning not in the sense of obeying them and doing everything they said to do, but in the sense of giving them the honor you're supposed to give to a parent. Even if you're mad at them, you know what I'm saying, watching what you say out your mouth. Even if you're angry about something, watching how you talk to them. It's you know what I'm saying. There's a difference between trying to find a way to explain it. To set the light is to set light is to like disregard or not show any care for. You understand? Um in old English, when somebody talked about not taking something seriously, they talked about it like it's a light thing, or it's no big deal, it's no sweat. You understand? It's to deal with something lightly is like you don't even take it seriously, right? This is saying you cannot treat your parents like they're a light thing. You can't set light by them. Like, I don't care what's happening with them. I don't care what they get, what they're going through, what they're dealing with. I don't care who they are. I don't care if that's my mother. I don't care if that's my father. It's like you can't deal with your parents like they people on the streets. Like they somebody, that you don't have any respect or honor for. So this is really in line with honoring your mother and father. Honoring your mother and father is to not set light by them, and to not deal with them cruelly, not deal with them harshly. You know what I'm saying? Of course, we know that honoring your mother and your father is talking about in their old age, caring for them, respecting them in their old age, looking out for them, making sure they're taken care of. Setteth light is the opposite of that. To not take care of your parents, to not honor your mother and father would be to set light by them. I mean, like to treat them lightly, treat them like they're not a big deal, treat them like they're not somebody that you're supposed to be respecting and honoring. You understand? So let me know if you understand that the sister said she said concert. So that's what it means to set us light. It's like deal with them harshly or to not honor them, not have respect for them in their old age. All right. Are there any other questions online before we go ahead and get into tonight's topic? And we don't have any other questions. We're gonna go ahead and get into the topic of tonight's. Okay, just here. Second question. She says, have a second question too. I don't know. She said, a Kroger customer mentioned Ezekiel 8 is supposed to be about Lilith. In Ezekiel 8 and 3, what is the image of jealousy? Is it the abominations that Ezekiel sees? Okay, Con. Well, Ezekiel 8 is definitely not about Lilith. Lilith, if nobody knows, is supposed to be Adam's other wife that he had in the garden that Eve hated and was mad at. It's a whole made-up story that comes from one of those fake books that were never a part of the Bible. That's a lie. You know what I'm saying? So you can disregard anybody making references to Lilith, anybody making references to the book of Adam and Eve, anybody referencing the pseudepigrapha. Those books have nothing to do with the Bible and they contradict the Bible. All right. But let's get Ezekiel 8 and 3 and see if we can get an understanding of what the image of jealousy was. All right. Okay. Okay. All right. No sweat. All right. So we're going to start at verse 1 and read on down. All right. Because I said, it was the devil that asked this question. No sweat. That's understandable. All right, so just to understand Ezekiel 8 as before we read it. Ezekiel 8 is a vision, right? Ezekiel is fasting, praying. The Lord lifts him up and shows him something in the spirit. So it's a vision that Ezekiel's seeing. In this vision, or what the Lord shows Ezekiel, he's able to see what is making the Lord mad at Israel. He's able to see what is provoking the Lord to jealousy that Israel is doing, and Ezekiel is shown something that's going on behind closed doors, going on behind the scenes in the darkness where people think that nobody can see. The Lord shows Ezekiel what's going on, and it'll explain itself around verse 5 or 6. But let's go ahead and read it. This is Ezekiel chapter 8, verse 1. It says, "And it came to pass in the 6th year, in the 6th month, in the 5th day of the month, as I sat in mine house, and the elders of Judah sat before me, that the hand of the Lord God fell there upon me. Then I beheld, and lo, a likeness that as the appearance of fire, from the appearance of his loins even downward fire, and from his loins even upward, as the appearance of brightness, as the color of amber." So he sees a figure that is fire. It's on fire from the waist down. From the waist up, it's glowing like the color of fire, like the amber of fire. So he's seeing a figure this is how he knows the vision. It's not a real man on fire that's standing before Ezekiel, but this is what he's seeing in the vision. Verse 3, "And he put forth the form of a hand and took me by the lock of mine head, and the spirit lifted me up between the earth and the heaven, and brought me in the visions of God to Jerusalem, to the door of the inner gate that looketh toward the north, where was the seat of the image of jealousy, which provoketh to jealousy." So in the vision, this flaming man grabs Ezekiel by his hair, lifts him up. They lift up off the earth, right? So Ezekiel's lifted up by his hair out of his seat. He's taken in between earth and heaven, meaning he's in the sky, and they fly all the way to Jerusalem, to the gate of the door facing the north in the temple, and Ezekiel is able to see what is sitting there that is making the Lord angry, provoking the Lord to jealousy. Everybody understands. There's other scriptures you can go to. When it says in verse 3, the spirit lifted me up between earth and heaven. And hold on now. The image of jealousy is an idol. It's an idol that's being worshipped. That's why it's called the image of jealousy. It's making the Lord mad. It's something that they're worshiping inside of the court in Jerusalem that is making the Lord angry. And the Lord shows Ezekiel what this thing is in the spirit. Everybody understands? All right, so it's Ezekiel 8 and 4. "And behold, the glory of the God of Israel was there, according to the vision that I saw in the plain. Then said he unto me, Son of man, lift up thine eyes now the way toward the north. So I lifted up mine eyes the way toward the north. And behold, northward at the gate of the altar, this image of jealousy in the entry." So towards the gate, towards the altar, before you get to the altar where the priest got to pass through, there's an idol that is there. An idol is a statue or an object that is being worshipped, that people are saying this is God. The priest who's supposed to be over the people, supposed to be teaching the people to obey the Most High and serve the Most High, they are worshiping an idol behind the doors where nobody can see. And the Lord is punishing Israel for it, and nobody knows why Israel is being punished, but the Lord is showing Ezekiel why Israel is being punished. Everybody understands? Read more, verse 6. "He said furthermore unto me, Son of man, seest thou what they do, even the great abominations that the house of Israel committeth here, that I should go far off from my sanctuary? But turn thee yet again, and thou shalt see greater abominations. And he brought me to the door of the courts. And when I looked behind a hole in the wall, behold, a hole in the wall. Then said he unto me, Son of man, dig now in the wall. And when I had digged in the wall, behold, a door. And he said unto me, Go in and behold the wicked abominations that they do here." Now, this is important because you have to understand Ezekiel is still sitting at his house in front of the elders that came to see him. These men came to a prophet of God to understand Why are we suffering? Why are we being destroyed? What's going on in Israel? And so that he can answer, the Lord lifts Ezekiel up in the spirit and shows him what is happening in Jerusalem, shows him what's happening behind closed doors. We live in a world today, which is on topic with the class, where these rich, powerful people in this country believe that the things that they are doing behind closed doors are going to go unpunished. They believe that they are so smart and they're so skillful that nobody is wise to the evil of their doings, and they'll never have to pay for any, they'll never have to suffer any consequences for the evil that they do. That is what was going on amongst the leadership of Israel in the days of Ezekiel. They worshiping false gods, praying to idols, and we're going to see the next abominable thing that's going on behind the doors in the inner court where the priests are that the Lord shows Ezekiel. So this is now Ezekiel 8 and 10. So I went in and saw, and behold, every form of creeping things and abominable beasts, and all the idols of the house of Israel portrayed upon the wall round about. And there stood before them 70 men of the ancients of the house of Israel. And in the midst of them stood Jaazaniah, the son of Shaphan, with every man his censer in his hand, and a thick cloud of incense went up. Then said he unto me, Son of man, hast thou seen what the ancients of the house of Israel do in the dark, every man in the chambers of his imagery? For they say, the Lord seeth us not, the Lord hath forsaken the earth. Everybody understands. These niggas was worshiping idols, praying to false gods, because they felt the Lord wasn't real. The Lord had abandoned us. So they did exactly what we did after we came out of Egypt. They went back to worshiping the false gods, back to worshiping the former gods. You understand? And because of it, the Lord was destroying. Imagine the Lord give us laws and rules. We don't follow those laws and rules. And as a result of not following those laws and rules, we get punished. In the midst of being punished because we did not follow the laws and the rules that God gave us, these niggas went to worshiping false idols and blamed it on, well, the God we supposed to serve ain't coming through for us. This God ain't real. It's like today. People are Christians because they don't believe in the God of the Bible, or brothers turn Muslim because the God of Christianity never answered their prayers. The God of Christianity never came through for them. But nigga, you was never doing what you, first of all, the God of Christianity is a false God. But a lot of our people claim to be fed up with religion, claim to be fed up with worshiping the sky daddy when you never obeyed the Most High to begin with. You never followed the Most High to begin with. So for you to come now and to say that, you're not going to follow these laws or follow these rules because they don't work, that God ain't real, you're a clown, you're a fool. Everybody understands. These priests that were in Jerusalem doing this evil, the Lord showed Ezekiel what was going on behind closed doors. So not only were they worshiping false idols, they eating pork, they eating shrimp, they eating bugs and doing all manner of horrible things that goes against the laws that God gave Israel. All right. Let me know if you understand, Kapatazar. So this scripture is important in showing us that there is no darkness. There is nothing that can be done in the darkness that the Lord is not going to deal with us for. There is no evil that you can hide from the Most High. If you're doing some evil, doing some dirt, you best believe the Lord sees you. And because the Lord sees you, guess what? He'll make sure the men of the Lord see you. There's brothers and sisters out there that don't believe that the God of this Bible is real. They believe they can do whatever they want to do. And because man doesn't see it, they don't have nothing to worry about. Well, you don't know about the God of this Bible. You don't know about the God of these scriptures. You understand? The God of this Bible is real, and everything that is done in darkness will be brought to the light, which is why you should make sure that the things you're doing when nobody is around is greater than what you do when everybody can see you. Everybody understand? You can't be a hypocrite in here, man. You can't be not in this day and not in this generation. You can't pretend to love the Lord and serve the Most High, and then when nobody's watching, you eating pork and shrimp and sneaking smoking weed and sneaking, having sex with hoes on the internet or doing whatever evil you're doing. The Lord is going to deal with you. Everybody understands. If you read on, sis, I ain't gonna go into it now, but if you read on the rest of Ezekiel 8, you find out they was worshiping Tammuz, which is one of the Babylonian goddesses, the queen of heaven. Tammuz is not Lilith. Tammuz is a goddess, Ishtar, same as man, who was the broad that's supposed to have Horus and Osiris, Nimrod's mother? All of them was Tammuz, the queen of heaven that they worship. It's the same as the Mother Mary today. All of these female gods that have been worshipped all the way since the days of the Babylonians. The men of the elders in Israel, ancients of Israel, were worshiping them, and that's why the Lord was punishing us. You understand? You understand? Yeah, cotton. But that's just the white man is the devil. Of course, you know he gonna make things up. He gonna read something and say, "Oh, see, yeah, that's the Lilith that he talking about." He don't know what the hell he talking about. So just know that the white man is the devil. He does not know the Bible, and he's always going to try and tell you something or convince you of something that is, going to try and take away from you serving the Most High or obeying the Most High. Everybody understands? It's funny how anytime we encounter people in the world that think they know something about the Bible, nobody comes and says, black people are the Jews. I ain't never once met a nigga in my life that said, yeah, man, in that Bible, man, all the people of God are black and the white man is the devil. I ain't never met nobody that say, yeah, man, the Bible, that God in that Bible racist, man. I only love one people. All the things that we teach in the UPK, the truth of the Bible is the real conspiracy in the earth. There is no conspiracy on the planet greater than the truth of the Bible is God does not love everybody, that he chose one race of people, and that race of people are so-called niggas, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Everybody that knows some type of conspiracy about the Bible, Shakespeare wrote the Bible because in Psalm 72 and 1 it says shake, and then in the last verse it says spear, and the shake and the spear lets you know that it's Shakespeare wrote it. All right, my nigga. Okay, sure. And you know that the angels came down and had sex with the women and made giants in the Bible. That's where you get the Nephilim from. Can you show me that in the scripture? They can't show you that in the Bible. You understand? Yeah, man. Jesus' mama never had sex with nobody, popped up pregnant, and the man that she was married to stayed with her and this baby that she was pregnant with that nobody took credit for, and he just was a good man, so he kept her. But he was worried about it at the same time, and the angel had to visit him to tell him it was going to be okay to keep this woman who was a whore because she was pregnant, even though he never had sex with her. And then Jesus came forth. Okay, that's what you think that's what you think the Bible is saying. All these fake conspiracies that people claim, nobody ever claims. Yeah, man, that the Bible only about one people that God loves. The Bible is only about the deliverance of one nation. Nobody knows. The conspiracy that everybody think about the Bible is not the truth. The greatest conspiracy is the truth, is the facts that we teach in the ISUPK. Which is why everybody look at us like we crazy and think that we don't know what we're talking about. But in today's world that we're living in, we are witnessing the Lord exposing a great evil and a great cruelty and uncovering a great hoax that has plagued the earth for many, many generations at this time. And what I am talking about is the robbery and the thievery and the evil that has taken place in the highest levels of this government in this land that we call America. For so long, we were taught about the American dream, and we were taught that America was a country that was founded on the pursuit of life, liberty, and happiness for all people. We were told that America was the land of milk and honey, where anybody could come here and make it big and do it up and live a wonderful, amazing life. And in 2026, we are quickly seeing a full reversal of all of the propaganda that we were taught about America growing up in this place. There was a time that being black in America, you felt like there was a chance that you could make it because America is a place where anybody can make it. Being black in America, we were programmed to believe that we were in the greatest country on the earth and there was no better place for us to be. When you look at what's going on with Donald Trump and the government and the inflation and the price of gas going up and the groceries getting more expensive and the jobs getting more scarce, a lot of us are realizing that this place is not what we were taught it was. That the opportunities available to us are not the opportunities that we were convinced we were going to have as kids growing up. Right now, we're watching these data centers being built all over the country. And they're telling us that these data centers, the reason why these data centers are being financed and built is because they're going to eliminate regular people from working some of these jobs because AI is going to do it. Well, everybody knows that if computers take over these jobs, that means people are not going to be able to work them no more. And if people can't work them, there are no replacement jobs coming. So what does that mean? They are purposefully making it so that people can't get jobs, so that they can't, make any money, so that they starve and die and be homeless and live in the streets. And it's a horrible, evil thing that's taking place in this country right now. And a lot of people are just sitting by and watching it happen. There's an old parable about the best way to cook a frog. So if you want to cook a frog, you don't take a frog and put it in boiling water. You try to put a frog in boiling water, he's gonna jump out of the water, he's gonna kick and scream and fight, and it's gonna ruin the meat. It's gonna be a horrible thing. So if you want to cook a frog, you put a frog in cold water. Put a frog in cold water and put that cold water over the flame. You put the flame on low, and that frog will sit in that cold water. As that cold water gets heated and it turns warm, the frog will still sit in that cold water. And as that cold water turns warm, that frog will still sit in that warm water. And as that warm water begins to heat up and gets to boiling, the frog is going to stay in that water because in the frog's mind, this is the same cold water that I got dropped into. And the frog will sit there until it dies in boiling heat because the frog's mind doesn't register that there's a flame outside that's heating this water up. Well, that's where we are in America today. This devolving of the American dream is like people being boiled in a pot of water that used to be cold, used to be comforting. Like we are already past the point of no return when it comes to this economy, when it comes to the job market, when it comes to, people's rights, when it comes to the checks and balances of the government. There is no scenario where America can ever go back to being what it was before. There's no scenario possible in which America can pretend to be the place that we all were lied to and told that it was growing up. And today we're going to go into the scriptures and show you what the Bible says about people who run a place like America, what they're made of, what they think, how they feel, and what their intentions are towards the people who are less fortunate. Everybody understands? So the first scripture we're going to get is let's get let's get bear with me. Let me get hold on. Hold on. All right, let's get Isaiah 32. Let's get Isaiah 32 and let's get verse 6. Isaiah 32, 6 and 7. Let's get Isaiah 32, 6 and 7. All right. Get Isaiah chapter 32, verse 6 and 7. All right. Now I'm gonna play a couple clips after we go into some of these scriptures, showing you that the Bible is speaking to these people who tell lies and who spread false news and who are hypocrites and all of the things that they speak and all the things that they say. And I'm going to show you that these scriptures come to life with what's going on in this world today, all right? This is Isaiah chapter 32, verse 6. It says, "For the vile person will speak villainy, and his heart will work iniquity, to practice hypocrisy, and to utter error against the Lord, to make empty the soul of the hungry, and he will cause the drink of the thirsty to fail." What are we talking about? We're talking about somebody who is vile, somebody who is disgusting. You understand? Somebody who is a villain. And what makes them a villain? They work iniquity and they practice hypocrisy, meaning their actions are evil and they are hypocrites, and they say one thing or tell you to do one thing and they go and do another. You understand? They utter error against the Lord, to make empty the soul of the hungry. What does it mean to make empty the soul of the hungry? They starve the hungry and will cause the drink of the thirsty to fail. And they cause the thirsty to never drink. So this is someone who is powerful, that speaks great evil, that's a hypocrite, that says one thing and then does another, which causes the hungry to starve and causes the thirsty to never get drink. The Bible is describing politicians. The Bible is describing, false religious leaders. People that speak wonderful things and say nice words, but in all of their actions, they are the villain. The Bible is talking about Donald Trump. The Bible is talking about, Mike Johnson. The Bible is talking about Hakeem Jeffries. The Bible is not just talking about Republicans. It's not just talking about Democrats. It's talking about the entire political arena. They are the vile person that speaks villainy. Everybody understands? Reading on in Isaiah 32 and 7. "The instruments also of the churl are evil. He devises wicked devices to destroy the poor with lying words, even when the needy speaketh right." Everybody understand? These politicians have built a system that is designed to make sure that the poor always remain poor, so that they always have a class of people that they can lie to. So they can always have people that they can dupe, that they can convince to trust them, to believe in them, so that the system can run the same way it's always run, which is on the backs of, the poor and the suffering. Understand this American government would not be anything if it wasn't for the participation of the poor and the needy. If it wasn't for the so-called middle class trying to not be poor and not be starving, there would be no voting. There would be nobody participating in this system. Which means what? The system has to keep the poor and has to continue to convince those who are treading above the poor that the solution for you to get right is to hear these words that I'm saying and to do this thing that I'm doing. Everybody understands? Let's drop that. Let's get Psalm chapter 10. We get Psalms 10. We get verse 2. Now let's get Psalms 10, verse 6, and we'll read on down to verse 8. Verse 11. Psalms 10, verse 6 to 11. All right. I'm reading Psalms chapter 6, 10, verse 6. It says, He has said in his heart, I shall not be moved, for I shall never be in adversity. Who's saying this? The wicked is saying this. The ones in power and control are saying this. They are saying, I shall not be moved, for I shall never be in adversity. You understand? Meaning what? They're not worried about the poor. They're not worried about the people that's suffering, because in their minds, they'll never be one of the suffering. They'll never be one of the poor. So they do their evil, do their wickedness. They tell their lies because they don't believe there's no real consequences. They don't believe there's any real threat that's coming their way. This is Psalms 10 and 7. His mouth is full of cursing and deceit and fraud. Under his tongue is mischief and vanity. He sits in the lurking places of the villages. In the secret places does he murder the innocent. His eyes are privately set against the poor. He lieth in wait secretly as a lion in his den. He lies in wait to catch the poor. He does catch the poor when he draws him into his net. He crouches and humbles himself that the poor may fall by his strong ones. He has said in his heart, God has forgotten. He hides his face, he will never see. This is what's in the minds of the elites of this society. This is what's in the minds of the rich and the wealthy of this society. They don't care about the poor. They abuse the poor, take advantage of the poor, unalive the poor. You understand? Pass laws and devices that will cause poor people to be locked up and arrested and go to prison with no, timeline to get free. They'll deport people who come over here to work for pennies on the dollar. Why? Because they are the wicked and they believe that there's not a God that's watching. They don't believe that there's a God that one day they'll have to answer to. So they do this evil and live this wicked life because they don't believe there's consequences and repercussions. Everybody understands. Let's get all right, let's get bear with me. Um get James chapter 2. Now we will hold off on James 2. I'll wait on that one. Wait on James 2. Hold up. Bear with me, hold on. All right, let's get Psalms 9, chapter 9. And verse 16. Get Psalms 9 and 15. Get Psalms chapter 9, verse 15. Psalms 9 and 15 reads, "The heathen are sunk down in the pit that they made. In the net which they hid is their own foot taken." Who are the heathen? The nations that go against the Most High. The nations that are against the 12 tribes, right? The Bible is saying that they're going to fall into the pit that they set. They're going to get caught in a trap that they laid for somebody else, right? Psalms 9 and 16, "The Lord is known by the judgment which he executes. The wicked is snared in the work of his own hands. Haggayon Salah," right? So what is the Bible talking about? We read these three scriptures talking about the vile person going to speak villainy, right? There's hypocrisy in his heart, and he causes the soul of the hungry to fail, and the thirst, the water, the drink of the thirsty to cease. You understand? Psalm 10 talked about them hiding in lurking places to destroy the poor and to rob, and unalive the poor. It's talking about rich, powerful men with all of their authority and all their wealth, abusing and lying and taking advantage of the poor and the less fortunate. Well, there's things going on in America today that fully fits the description of the wicked that the Bible is describing and the cruel treatment that they have against the poor. And it's what's going on in the government today. It's been going on in the U.S. government for many, many years, but it's very blatant and obvious to see today with the behavior of Donald Trump and his cabinet, and the whole government. I'm gonna point out some stories and show you some clips about things that have been taking place that really are unimaginable unless you're someone who preys on the poor, who disrespects the poor, who looks down on their suffering and their plight as though, it's just nothing to be worried about. That scripture we read at the start of class in Ezekiel 8 and 3, where it talks about setting light. I mean, not Ezekiel 8 and 3, Deuteronomy 27 and 16, where it talks about setting light by your parents. Well, America is setting light by the poor and by the suffering. They are, dealing with the poor and really the lower middle class in this country very cruelly, very harshly, robbing them of their wealth, robbing them of their opportunities, teaching their children to go to school, to go to college, to get degrees, take out student loans, and never be able to find a job that'll help pay all that money back. And all of it is designed to rob the poor, to trap them and ensnare them in a system of debt servitude that goes against everything that the Lord established for us here in this book called the Bible. Don't you know that in the Bible there are rules against everything that the American establishment stands for? There's laws in the Bible against usury. What is usury? Loaning money at interest. There's laws in the Bible against, keeping someone poor and in debt forever. There's a year of jubilee in the Bible. Every 50 years, man, you had to let the people that were indebted to you go free, get them a chance to redeem themselves. You understand? When you read about slavery in the Bible is debt servitude. Somebody who is poor and in debt, and because you're in debt, you got to come work it off. Come on my farm, work it off. Come in this business and work it off for me. And if your debt is so great that you and your children got to come work for me, then all of y'all my employees. You understand? The Bible gives rules on debt servitude, do's and don'ts, that America never followed, that these other countries in the world never follow. So when people come and ask us, y'all say y'all mad about slavery in America, but the Bible promotes slavery. Yeah, the Bible does promote slavery. Not what America did to our people. What America did to our people is not in the Bible. In the Bible, there's rules about hitting someone, beating someone. In the Bible, there's rules against, against the forced taking of a woman sexually. You can't force yourself on a woman according to the Bible. You can't, you can't know a man has a woman, send him out in the field to work, and then you go and have sex with his woman while he's out in the field. That goes against the laws of the Bible. America stands by itself as a cruel, evil empire that embodies everything that goes against God and goes against the Bible. And what is taking place right now today with Donald Trump and the U.S. government is absolutely diabolically evil and wicked and villainy, according to the word of God. You understand? Just 2 days ago, I'm going to play this video, and then I'll come back and we can talk about it. You understand? I'm going to play this video about what transpired recently with the government and show you just how evil, just how cruel, just how diabolical Donald Trump and this U.S. government is. Let me go ahead and get this video up for y'all. Let me see if I can put myself and the video on screen. Okay, hopefully this will work. Y'all watch this. Check this out.
American history. Let me walk you through what just happened, because if you're not paying close attention, you may have missed the most corrupt thing a sitting president has done in modern American history. Earlier this year, Donald Trump sued the IRS. He demanded $10 billion from the federal government over the leak of his tax returns back in 2019. Think about just that for a second. The president of the United States sued his own government for $10 billion in his personal capacity. Here's where it gets worse. The Justice Department was supposed to defend the government against that lawsuit, but of course the Justice Department works for Donald Trump. So Trump's personal lawyers were negotiating against Trump's own Justice Department in a case where Trump controls both sides. And the federal judge in Florida, no less, saw exactly what was happening. She ordered both sides to come into the court and explain whether they were actually opposing each other or whether they were just colluding to hand Trump a payout. That deadline was this Wednesday. So today, Monday, Trump's lawyers made their move. They dismissed the lawsuit. They told the judge that no judicial analysis is appropriate. They cut the judge out of the process altogether. Fund. Note the number 1776, a wink to the founding of the country, attached to what I would call a scheme that I think the founders would have been apoplectic about. The money is going to be controlled by 5 people, all handpicked by Trump's attorney general. They can pay out claims to anyone who says they were a victim of so-called weaponization by the Biden administration. And that includes the January 6th defendants that Trump pardoned. It could include entities tied to Trump himself. And this commission has no obligation to disclose how it makes the decisions. The Justice Department said Trump and his sons won't be paid directly. They'll just get an apology. But entities associated with the Trump family are not explicitly barred from filing claims. We have tried to stop it. And unfortunately, Trump's lawyers are going to do whatever Trump wants, no matter how corrupt, no matter how unethical. Let me say very plainly what just happened. Donald Trump sued himself. He is settling with himself. He cut the judge out, and he's setting up a $1.8 billion slush fund of your taxpayer dollars to pay off his political allies without any court oversight, without any congressional approval or transparency. My Republican colleagues can't be bothered to do oversight. Never in the history of the U.S. has a sitting president sought a monetary settlement from the government he leads. This is the federal treasury being converted into a slush fund for Trump. And every American who pays taxes is the one who's funding it. Congress has to act. This is completely out of control. Let me walk you through what just happened, because if you're not paying close attention, you...
Now, who wants to guess what's going to happen next? Do you think that they're going to stop Donald Trump from accomplishing what he's trying to accomplish? Do you think they're going to stop him from doing what he set his mind to do? No. $1.7 billion Donald Trump has made available to himself to pay whoever he wants for the crime of upholding the American Constitution and for the laws that are in place against people who would lead a sedition or overthrow the government. Now, here's what you got to understand. That money is not going to be used to pay January 6ers unless Donald Trump needs another January 6th. That $1.7 billion is going right in Donald Trump's pocket. You understand? They are giving that money to themselves. Understand this, Donald Trump is the president. Donald Trump appointed his personal lawyer to be the head of the Department of Justice. That's who brings cases against people. Donald Trump sued the government for $10 billion. The one who has to combat him on the case is his lawyer that runs the Department of Justice. Donald Trump gets his lawyer to not fight against the lawsuit that he filed. Before it could go before a judge, Donald Trump settles it out of court in the amount of $1.7 billion, and the Department of Justice creates a fund set up to pay people at the discretion of the president, who is Donald Trump. Now, in the midst of all this, they just cut billions of dollars from Medicaid. They just cut billions of dollars from welfare. They just cut, billions of dollars from unemployment. All these social programs that they say are, draining the economy, draining the budget. But there's enough money for Donald Trump to pay himself $1.7 billion. These people are the devil that the Bible speaks of. They are the wicked. They are the churl. They are the villain. You know what I'm saying? The vial that speaks villainy. They are the what's the other words that them scriptures say? They are the ones that lie secretly and wait to destroy the poor. You understand? It is such an abominable, diabolical thing that is taking place with this government right now. And brothers and sisters have to see that these people who are running this country are the cruel and the wicked that the Bible speaks of. And it always has been that way. It was the same thing that's happening now with Donald Trump was what was going on during the war and going on in 9/11 with George Bush and with Dick Cheney and Halliburton. It's the same thing that went on in 2008 with the fall of the collapse of the banking system and the bailout that George Bush pushed for and that Barack Obama approved. These people have been robbing from the poor for many, many years. There are billionaires in this country that own Amazon, that owns Facebook, that owns YouTube. They don't pay no taxes. But you know who's third they coming for every time? Mine's and yours. They scrutinize. You make $66,000 a year. They make sure that they got their 21. And they feel like they didn't get their 21. They scrutinize you and audit you and look at your records. But when it comes to a rich man, they won't look at his riches. They won't look at the rich that money that Donald Trump has spent. They ain't gonna look into his records to see how much money he spent. So like y'all, give me 1 second. I need to play one song. I got this other video together. While I'm getting this video together, I'm gonna play a song for y'all. So like it, and I'm gonna come back with the rest of the breakdown. All right. And bear with me. We're gonna take a small interlude. I gotta pull this video up. I'm gonna play might be a song or two. Play a song or two, and I'm gonna be right back. All right, y'all bear with me.
They killed, give me Isaiah 14 and 21. They did the same thing to my people. So then you said that they put millions of my Should a murderer go to jail for murdering? Absolutely. Should a thief go to jail when he steals? Absolutely. Should a robber pay back the money he robbed? Absolutely. So why shouldn't the white man pay for what he did? That's right. That's right. You'll see just how it feels. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog.
expected to grow. Just obstacles set in the road, that a result of me selling my soul. The story I'm telling is cold, but yet it's what everyone knows. The white man's the devil is known. America was never our home. Only a place of captivity, save facility, hating, disfigure me. They claim that I'm lazy, be killing me. Maybe this slavery draining my energy. 400 years and counting. The trail of my tears is countless. Main fact that I'm here is astounding, but I can't wait till this shit is surrounded. Ready to tangle my king and the angels, be ready to rap. Cracking the sky, nuclear missiles will make it official. I'm capturing every cracker surviving. Put them all in chains where they need to be. Slavery for me. And let the whole world see that with them in the cage and safer in the streets. Put the dog on a leash. Get resolved for the beast. 144, get the ruler show, we could all be at peace. As soon as the trumpets are sound, your kingdom we busting it down. The only way justice is found, the time for your judgment is now.
Do you see just how it feels? Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a
Look, ain't no remorse in my blood slim. It won't be no compromise. Now it's time to feed the worms. Watch his body turn to flies. I clutch iron while you trust the lies. The next Glock I buy gon' be Gen 5. I get it customized. And sending shots off like farewell. Praying payback come back around like a carousel. Still remember your Honda's words ringing in my head like bells. Said you in this body, you fit a Lord, fuck the cartel. Triangle choke, apply pressure to the game like I did Vondale. Payback's a bitch in a dress, she a bombshell. Revenge is served cold, I just hope they making oxtail. Glock fresh out the box, I swear it got that new car smell. Made myself a target in the world of mad shooters. That was designed fire for our babies to pass through it. And the day of our king's reign, I'll be overzealous. They bought my jealous, I bought brand new parabellums.
Do you see just how it feels? Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a
Lifestyle, that's my boss, bitch, and my wordplay. Hey, when I get mad, turn the Scarface. How when I get mad, turn the Sharface. Yeah, nigga. Fuck, I'm talking about that. Hey, tell me how it is, tell me how you feel, tell me what it is, tell me what you wanna do. Put sad boy plotting on who? I done seen it all before I came through. Must don't understand, nigga, I'm in the truth, lame ass nigga. But these crackers tryna shoot shit my way. 100 down rides on the highway. Only thing I got in this lifestyle, that's my boss, bitch, and my wordplay. Hey, when I get mad, turn the Scarface. Now when I get mad, turn the Sharface. Yeah, I'm up in South Beach with this shit, nigga, Miami. Fuck on me, bitch. Tell me how it is, tell me how you feel, tell me what it is. I'm always in the field, always dressed to kill, nigga. What the fuck you talking about? But your pussy boy, but you ain't talking about nothing, but you ain't making noise. You ain't on that shit, that shit thought you was. Who the fuck these niggas thought they was? They don't even know that. Shooting at me and I'm a throwback. I don't look back, that's a throwback. No, I don't look sad cause I'm on that. Boy, get shot at the tough, that's a toe tag. Lame ass cracker don't want the guns on me. But these people wanna know everything. But the booze and the chica. I tell these soft ass boys how to think. Man, I'm on my grind, let it hang. Yeah, my nutsack on these fuck niggas when I don't give a fuck. What they be hating on cause I'm up, nigga. What the fuck, nigga? Who the fuck these niggas thought they was? Yeah, all the time a nigga growing. All the time a nigga knowing. Gotta stack it up, keep that bitch fluent. Hey, hey. Tell me how it is, tell me how you feel, tell me what it is. Gotta flip the deal, gotta keep the steel, kill a big kid. Nah, nigga, for real, I'm ready for the real. Nigga, I'm ready for the war, nigga. But they crack tryna shoot shit my way. 100 down rounds on the highway. Only thing I got in this life lifestyle, that's my boss, bitch, and my wordplay. Hey, when I get mad, turn to Scarface. Now when I get mad, turn to Scarface. We up here with the scene, nigga, with the Colombians, cutting niggas' heads off and shit. Tell me how it is, tell me how you feel. Always just a kid, shoot 'em up the hill. Gotta keep it still, nah, nigga, for real. Heady boy, I think they talking about. Why X out your rank, walking on your sand. On the highway, chasing after bands. Boy, wanna hate, they don't understand. Boy, wanna hate, soft two cans. Sam, man, nigga. I told you for that nigga, they don't know it. Yeah, chasing after one, I love that shit. Cause the thrill of the hunt keep me on my shit. Yeah, the deck on my hip with a stand-up clip. Yeah, motherfucker, we'll kill your ass. We'll motherfucking dissect your ass. Cut a head off, put a body for the buzzers. Matter of fact, fuck them buzzers, nigga. You know we head hunters. Hey, call nigga Sharface, nigga. What the fuck you talking about? Yeah.
All right. Shalom, Lord Christ. Salaki, y'all. Had to get these videos together. That Shaw video that played was not the video that was supposed to play after Payback was the dog, but Salaki, the water for y'all bearing with me. Again, the topic is the Den of Thieves, man. We're talking about the corruption going on in the U.S. government, the evil that they are imagining against the poor, and that they're stealing all this money from the government, leaving the poor, tax-paying people on the hook to pay for, these absorbent amounts of money that they're stealing from the government, and it's absolutely a diabolical thing. I ended off before I took the break talking about how only the poor pay taxes in this country. The poor and middle class is who's responsible for taxes. The rich and the billionaires, the ultra wealthy, they don't have to pay any taxes in this country. Jeff Bezos, who runs Amazon, does not pay any taxes. You understand? Donald Trump, who's a multi-billionaire now, and this story I'm about to show y'all, this video I'm about to play, not only has he never revealed his taxes to the government, because he runs the Justice Department and runs the Congress right now, he has passed a law that says him and his family will never, ever have to reveal their taxes. So no one's ever going to really find out just how much money Donald Trump and his family stole from the government during his presidency, because he just passed a law making it so you could never check his records. Imagine we live in a country where they say that there's not enough money in the budget for poor people to have access to health care. Not enough money for poor people to have access to social programs like welfare and Medicaid. They're saying that they want to cut off Social Security, which means you being able to work your whole life to the age of 65 and then you could just kick back and collect checks. They trying to do away with that. Why? So that the rich people can remain richer and the poor people can remain poor and working until they're at death's door. Here's a video concerning the new taxes, the new rule that was passed concerning Donald Trump and his past tax returns, and the ability for the government to look into his family's tax returns as well. All right, go ahead and play this for y'all.
The Trump administration has barred itself from pursuing any and all claims against President Trump and his family that could have been made by the IRS, including his tax returns, as part of a controversial $1.8 billion settlement between President Trump personally and the government that he leads. Now, the protection extends to Trump, his family members, the Trump Organization, and parties including trusts, parent, sister, or related companies, affiliates, and subsidiaries. It covers any pending tax audits of Trump and others the IRS may have been conducting, and the sweeping exemption of Trump and his family from normal obligations under tax law raises the question of whether Trump has directed his government to award him a settlement on favorable terms that no other American could get. It comes as part of the settlement of a $10 billion federal lawsuit against the IRS filed in Miami by Trump, Donald Trump Jr., Eric Trump, and their company over the leak of Trump-related tax filings by an IRS employee. Now, as part of that settlement, the Justice Department agreed to finance what is being called an anti-weaponization fund. With $1.8 billion in taxpayer money, the fund would compensate alleged victims of law enforcement actions under the Biden administration. Now, a Department of Justice spokeswoman defended the deal, saying there would be little point in settling several significant claims if either party could simply turn around and seek to initiate more adverse claims that could have been pursued previously. In an unprecedented arrangement, the Trump administration has barred itself from pursuing any and all.
So that's that. That's that on that. Donald Trump has, being in control of the Department of Justice, settled out of court with himself over a lawsuit that he brought against the IRS for $10 billion. He settled for $1.8 billion. Then part of the $1.8 billion settlement, he had the Department of Justice pass a ruling that states we will never look into Donald Trump's tax returns. We'll never look into his family's tax returns. Anybody that is associated with the Trump brand will never have to know if they pay taxes. We'll never be able to charge them to make them pay taxes. Like, this is an unimaginable evil being done in the sight of all the people. That poor people aren't afforded these luxuries. Poor people aren't afforded these opportunities. Imagine the IRS file a complaint. IRS overcharge you for the money that you're supposed to pay back, and you find out through calculations that they overcharged you. You think you could sue the IRS for $10 billion and get a settlement in the amount of $1.8 billion for the injustice that was served to you, for the wrong that was done to you? What makes Donald Trump somebody that he could sue for $10 billion besides a man with power that can settle out of court with himself to make sure that he gets paid? Sister Kazakwana said, now that's a brilliant devil. He protected his own family from his big, beautiful bill project. Absolutely. Absolutely. Which means what? Who gets left out to dry? Who gets the short end of the stick? The poor, the needy. These devils can enrich themselves and make themselves billions of dollars. And guess who got to pay for it? Who has to pay for the $1.8 billion wrongful government fund? The damn people that pay taxes. That money come out of your check. You look at your check every week, every 2 weeks, and you see FICA on there. That's Donald Trump and the U.S. government. You understand? Or you see, I forget what the other one is. This is another one of them names on them checks. They just take take a chunk of your money out, and you be like, who the hell is this? Well, that money got to come out of your check because Donald Trump got to pay himself because the government found him to have done wrong by not submitting his tax returns. Donald Trump got to pay himself because y'all had the nerve to, appropriately convict him on 37 counts of doing evil against the government. Donald Trump got to tax y'all $1.8 billion because y'all had the nerve to follow the rules and the laws that America has on the books about trying to overthrow the government. These devils will overthrow anything if it means they get to get their way. You understand? Let me get man. Oh, that's what it is. Hold on. This is Deuteronomy 16 and 19. The Bible made rules, man, that goes against everything that's taking place in this government today, which is why really at the core of America's, the evil of Christianity. The reason why Christianity taught us that the laws of God were done away with is because the laws of God is what stands in the way of corruption, like what we're seeing with Donald Trump and the government right now. The laws of God is what gets in the way of somebody being able to abuse the poor and take advantage of the system and rob from the needy the way that we see taking place in the government right now. Everything that's happening in America, it has been happening for the last 50 to 100 years in terms of the rich stealing all the money and the poor getting the short end of the stick, has to do with America not being a place that was established the way that God established his civilization and culture with these laws in the Bible. What would have avoided all of this evil robbery that we see taking place with the government is this scripture right here. This is Deuteronomy 16 and 19. It says, thou shalt not wrest judgment. Thou shalt not respect persons, nor take a gift, for a gift does blind the eyes of the wise and pervert the words of the righteous. You understand? The Bible said we shouldn't wrestle with judgment, man. We shouldn't allow someone's power or their money determine whether they were right or wrong. We shouldn't allow someone's money and their wealth to determine whether they have to face the consequences like everybody else has to face the consequences. You understand? It's an evil thing, man, being in America, and these people are above the law. Donald Trump thought because he was rich, because he was once the president, that he should have been above the laws. The man had people attack the Capitol building and try to overthrow the government. He thought that it was supposed to just be allowed to ride, that they should have let it slide because he was the president. And because they didn't let it slide, America tried to have some integrity. America tried to have some sense of, right and wrong. Donald Trump came back and said, I'm gonna show y'all about some right and wrong. I'm gonna teach y'all what happens when you stand in the way of a rich man being rich and greedy. And that's what everything taking place right now is. That Donald Trump showing why you should never get in the way of a rich man. And I'm guarantee you, Americans are learning. They're learning right now that when a rich man want to do some evil, you should just let that rich man do evil. These rich men will, the Epstein files is the evidence that these rich people are doing crimes, doing horrible, evil things to children. Donald Trump has publicly spoken about doing horrible, evil things to women and grabbing them by the vagina and all manner of filth. Yet and still, his money and his wealth and his influence is showing you that this is a country that was built on corruption, built on cruelty against the poor. Imagine Donald Trump is, doing all this evil. You still got poor people voting for him. All of the rolling back of all of these rules and these laws against poor people, and the Republicans are still winning races in Kentucky. That's, they got rid of the one guy, Thomas Massey, that was in support of the Epstein files being released. He just got outvoted in Kentucky yesterday, which means what? There's a certain section of this population of people that don't give a damn about the rules, don't give a damn about the laws. They see Donald Trump and his family robbing and stealing all the money, and they support it. They want more of it. Because these are not a sensible people. These are not a people that have, common sense. These are people that are exactly what Trump knows that they are, which is why he takes advantage of them the way that he does. Let me get bear with me, hold on. Bear with me, hold on. No, that's not it. Hold on. No, I'm gonna drop that for right now. Let's get another video. It's another video that I found. Now, this is a super insensitive, tone deaf, just not considering the poor and the suffering of the people. That shows you the level of thinking that they have in Washington, D.C. right now. This is Speaker of the House of Representatives, Mike Johnson, who he's the Republican majority speaker. So he speaks for the Republicans. They have the majority in the Congress right now. So he goes to speak. When Congress speaks, he's the voice speaking out for them, right? This man held a press conference Now, I don't know who's responsible for this vote, but they are trying to push a vote that will allow for Congress people to be able to invest in the stock market. Meaning, right now, there's rules. If you're in the government, you know about laws being passed, you know about rules being passed, you know about deals, contracts, and stuff being made with the government with different companies. So, right now, on laws in America, because of a conflict of interest, if you're a senator or a congressperson, you can't vote. I mean, you can't gamble on the stock market. You can't bet stocks. Because why? If you're a senator and you know this company is about to get a big contract with the government, you could make bets in the stock market on this company increasing in value right before you vote to give them the contract that's going to make the company increase in value. They call that insider trading, right? So there's laws in America against insider trading where if you are part of the government, you can't bet in the stock market because you have inside information. You're privy, you have knowledge that other people don't have. So it makes it unfair that you get to bet in the same system everybody else is betting in, even though you have the inside information that would make sure that all your bets go good. Well, right now, Congress is lobbying for that law to go away. They want to make it so that Congress can gamble, can bet money on the stock market. And Mike Johnson is going to give you a talking to about why it's so necessary that Congress be allowed to bet on the stock market. Forget the conflict of interest. Forget the cheating and the rigging of the system that could take place if Congress people are allowed to make bets in the stock market. Mike Johnson going to plead with everybody on why you should understand the need for these Congress people to be able to have this right to trade stocks and how it's so important for their livelihood and for what they're doing with their families. Now, as you watching this and listening to this, I want you to think about all the poor people. I want you to think about Medicare and Medicaid. I want you to think about the tax code and who pays for the taxes and who doesn't. I want you to think about the stock market and who gets bailed out when their bet on the stock market doesn't work versus who loses their pensions and loses their retirements. And everybody just says, oh, man, well, better luck next time. Let's get Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, talking about why Congress needs to be able to trade stocks.
Less than they made in that year. It goes down every year. And over time, if you stay on this trajectory, you're going to have less qualified people who are willing to make the extreme sacrifice to run for Congress. I mean, it's just people just make a reasonable decision as a family on whether or not they can come and move to Washington, have a residence here, residence at home, and do all the things that are required. So the counter argument is, and I have some sympathy, look, at least let them engage in some stock trading so that they can continue to take care of their family. Well, look, the salary of Congress has been frozen since 2009. When you adjust for inflation, a member of Congress today is making 31% less than they made in that year. It goes down every year. And over time, if you stay on this trajectory, you're going to have less qualified people who are willing to make the extreme sacrifice to run for Congress. I mean, it's just people just make a reasonable decision as a family on whether or not they can come and move to Washington, have a residence here, residence at home, and do all the things that are required. So the counter argument is, and I have some sympathy, look, at least let them engage in some stock trading so that they can continue to take care of their family.
Now listen, this is Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson. He's saying that the money that Congress members are paid has been frozen since 2009. He said with inflation, they're making 31% less than what they made in that time. Anybody want to guess what's the average or what's the most that a congressperson could get paid in the U.S. government? Let's look it up right quick. I'm going to look it up and find out what is the most a congressperson can be paid by the government. What is the average salary of a U.S. congressperson? All right. Waiting for the AI machine to tell me the answer. The rank and file U.S. congressman makes $174,000 per year. A rank and file congressman makes $174,000 a year. And Mike Johnson is saying, well, these people aren't making enough money, man. For the last, since 2009, they haven't seen any increases in pay, haven't seen the cost that they making go up, and it's just not fair. At least let them gamble on the stock market so they can make some money to take care of their family. I mean, it's only right we let these people that's making $174,000 a year make more money. Does anybody want to guess what's minimum? Okay, let's just go back to the Google machine. When was the last time they raised the federal minimum wage? When was the last time they raised the federal minimum wage? The federal minimum wage was raised last on July 4th, 2009, when it increased to $7.25 an hour. So the same year that they voted to raise Congress pay was the same year that they voted to raise the federal minimum wage. The federal minimum wage in America is $7.25. This man is complaining about people being paid $174,000 a year. He's saying that's not enough. You see how evil these rich people are? You see how cruel they are against the poor? We're supposed to feel for Congress people making $174,000 a year when minimum wage is $7.25 and ain't been raised since 2009. These are some evil, diabolical bastards, man. This is the evil of the evil, the cruel of the cruel, the villainy of villains. That he would stand there with a straight face and say he empathizes and understands the congressman. He said if they don't allow Congress people to make more money, nobody's going to sign up to come to Congress no more. Nobody's going to want to move their family and have to decide on a house here and a house there. I would go work for Congress to make $174,000. You understand? This is disgusting. This is evil, man. And they're doing it right in front of everybody's face, and then they're laughing like it's a joke, laughing like it's okay. The bottom is falling out of the American economy, and the rich people at the top could care less about what happens to the poor. They only care about themselves. And it's important that we understand what's going on. It's important that we take a look at these things so that we can know that this is the evil kingdom that the Bible talks about. This is the place that God says he sees the oppressed. He sees the poor. He sees the thieving and the evil going on, and he's going to destroy it from off the face of the earth, man. This is an evil place, and we are living in an evil time where God is allowing for the reality of this place to be seen by all. There's not a single person that's going to be able to say they didn't know or they didn't understand or nobody warned them. God is making sure everybody sees just how cruel and evil a place this is. And what the Lord wants is for everybody to say, we don't want to participate anymore. We don't want to be a part of this system. We don't want to be a part of this place. Don't you know that in the land of Egypt, the children of Israel had to cry out to God? They had to get so bad that they cried out to God. Well, guess what? We aren't crying out to God. You want to know why? Because America hasn't gotten bad. The evil hasn't gotten as evil as it's supposed to get yet. The cruel haven't gotten as cruel as they need to be. For someone who has knowledge and wisdom, man, to watch these things transpiring, you know that this is an evil place, that these people are the devil that the Bible speaks of. But for somebody who's, still enjoying their life in America, who loves the freedoms they have, who appreciates, the little bit of relief they get with their drugs or with their sexual deviancy or with the evil that they're allowed to do. They don't want this place to change. They don't want God to come and correct the earth because they know that God correcting the earth comes with rules. They know it comes with laws and comes with this strictness that people really don't want. They prefer the freedom of America. They prefer the freedom of rich people like Donald Trump robbing everybody blind and then holding himself unaccountable, holding himself not guilty. They want to live in a place where maybe they can be rich one day, where they could get to have sex with children and nobody can uncover the files because the people in power will just hide it from everybody. There's no way that people who are poor and people who are suffering should have to do with the hypocrisy and the injustice taking place in the highest seats of power in this place. You understand? Let's drop that. Let me get let's get Psalms chapter 37. Psalms 37 and 37. All right. It says, this is Psalms 37 and 37. It says, mark the perfect man and behold the upright, for the end of that man is peace. We're in a time now where the Lord is looking for the perfect man. He's looking for who's not a hypocrite. He's looking for who is obedient to his ways and his laws. He's looking for those who want to be delivered out of this cruel, evil place. And the Lord said, mark him, and the end of that man is peace. Verse 38, but the transgressors shall be destroyed together. The end of the wicked shall be cut off. But the salvation of the righteous is of the Most High. He is their strength in the time of trouble. And the Lord shall help them and deliver them. He shall deliver them from the wicked and save them because they trust in him. Right now, there's too many people that still trusting in America. They still trusting in the government, still trusting in the American dream. Well, the Lord said the righteous are going to be delivered, are going to be because they trust in him. There are some of us who see the writing on the wall. We see Donald Trump and his family cashing out, and we see the trip over there to China to try and make a deal. We see the holding of the Strait of Hormuz and the stranglehold that they have on the gas industry. And we know that this means the end of America. We know that the dollar is falling and the bottom is falling out, and we are preparing ourselves for the reality of that. But there's some people who don't want the end of America. They don't want to see the fall of this empire, and they're begging and praying and doing whatever they can to see this place upheld. They're not going to be delivered. They're not going to get salvation because they're trusting in Egypt and not trusting in the Lord. Everybody understands. Let me get Isaiah chapter 31. It's Isaiah 31 and 1. This is Isaiah 31 and 1. We're going to read down to verse 3. All right. Isaiah 31 and 1 says, woe to them that go down to Egypt for help. What is woe? Destruction. Going down to Egypt is going to the oppressor, going to trust in the oppressor. You understand? And stay on horses and trust in chariots because they are many. Meaning what? They stay, their belief is in the power. Their belief is in the wealth. Their belief is in the money because America got a great military. Because America can go over there and flex on the Middle East and clog up the Straits of Hormuz and bomb Iran. People putting their trust in America. Because of the physical force of America, people are afraid to, challenge the authority, even speak up against the evil that's taking place. Because they're trusting in Egypt. They're trusting in the power and the strength of America. Reading on. And in horsemen, because they are very strong. But they look not unto the Holy One of Israel, neither seek the Lord. Yet he is also wise and will bring evil, and will not call back his words, and will arise against the house of the evildoers and against the help of them that work iniquity. You trusting in Egypt and not trusting in the Most High, no sweat. The word of the Most High can be called back. The Most High has spoken wisdom and he's spoken evil against America. If you were wise, you would turn to the Lord. You cannot wait until gas is $10 to turn to the Lord. You can't wait until, groceries cost more than what your check is. You can't wait until AI takes over all the jobs and you pouring in the street with no food to eat, no water to drink before you turn to the Most High. You got to turn to God now and plead with him. You got to hear the warnings of the men of God and see the writing on the wall that America is falling and turn to God now. Did the Lord wait? Did the children of Israel wait to turn to God after the plagues of Egypt came? Or did they turn to the Most High and then the plagues came? Moses went to Pharaoh and asked for 3 days in the wilderness. Pharaoh said, hell no. Moses came back to the people and said, listen, man, Pharaoh said no, but trust in the Lord. And we trusted in the Lord, and the Lord began to plague our enemies because we called on him. Hell, even before the Lord sent Moses, the children of Israel were calling on the Lord because of the suffering, calling on the Lord because of the evil. Who's stopping you from calling on the Lord? Your Christian church. Those pastors in the church that's telling you that everything going to be all right, everything is going to be all right. They stopping you from calling on the Lord. These politicians that's telling you to vote and we'll bring you jobs, we'll reclaim the economy. They stopping you from calling on the Lord. They're robbing from you when you should be calling on the Lord. The Lord said he's going to destroy the house of evildoers and against the help of them that work iniquity. You really want to trust in America because you love to do evil, because you don't want to have to obey God. You don't want to have to do what God said to do. So you want to keep getting high. You want to keep being a whore. You want to keep being a homosexual. You don't want to obey God's laws. So you pray America lasts forever. Guess what? Your prayers are falling on deaf ears. God is destroying this place. You understand? Isaiah 31:3. Now the Egyptians are men and not God. America is not God. Donald Trump and his family and all these rich elites, they are men. They are not God. And their horse is flesh and not spirit. When the Lord shall stretch out his hand, both he that helpeth shall fall, and he that is hoping shall fall down, and they shall all fall together. The one that need help and the one that's lying, saying he can help you, they're going to all fall together. The time is coming very soon when the Lord is going to destroy this place. It's not going to be whispers. It's not going to be in the economic numbers being crunched. It's not going to be in what the media tells you. It's going to be right in front of your eyes, right in your face for you to see. And by then, it's going to be too late for you to say, please, Lord, please, God. You better start pleading with the Lord now. You better start turning to the Most High now. You better be getting in this truth and getting these classes and learning what it is that God requires of you so that you can present yourself a living sacrifice, somebody that has done the work to get rid of your sins and your evil, to obey the Lord so that you could be delivered from the hell that's coming to this place. Because the hell that is coming to this place is much deserved. It is much needed. They deserve it. And the Lord going to make sure they get it. The question is, what side are you going to be on? You going to be on the side of the Most High, or you going to be on the side of these lying, scheming, evil, disgusting devils that seek to oppress the poor and to unalive them and to steal from them and to rob them of their life force? Everybody understands? One last scripture before we close out the class. Let me get so many scriptures I can go to about the destruction. Let's get Obadiah chapter 1, verse 15. So Obadiah chapter 1, verse 15. You read Obadiah. Obadiah is a book that is prophesying against the mountain of Edom, the house of Esau, which is the house of America, the house of the European, the house of the so-called Caucasian. You understand? And it's speaking to their leadership and those in their power structure. This is what Obadiah 1:15 says. For the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathen. As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thine own head. You understand? The Lord is going to repay our oppressor for the evil that they've done to us. And in repaying our oppressor for the evil that they've done to us, the Lord is going to remember their cruelty against the poor. We're going to remember their, attack against those who are less fortunate. They're preying upon those who had no power, who had no authority to speak for them, to stand for them. Right now, in 2026, the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge is the authority of the poor and the suffering amongst God's people. We are the voice for those who don't have the words to speak for themselves. And the words that we are speaking are the praying that the Most High will fulfill his word and keep his promise to raise our nation up as he condemns our oppressors and punishes them for the evil that they've done against us. We are in a time now and a day where we can no longer look to the Den of Thieves for salvation, to look to the Den of Thieves for deliverance. We are in a time now where we must stand with the Most High and call on him to deliver us, seeing that the end of this place has already been made manifest. You understand? With that, brothers and sisters, get in class, man, serve the Lord, become who he called you to be. Turn to him now before the bottom falls out. Turn to him now before the prices get outrageous. Turn to him now before it is too late, because now is the time that we should be preparing ourselves and gearing up for the great work the Lord is going to do in this place. With that, clap it up. With the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge out of 1 West 125th Street in Harlem, New York. Since 1969, we've been teaching so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians the truth according to the Bible. What is the truth? The truth is that so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians descend from the greatest people that have ever walked the face of the earth. The Bible identifies us as the lost 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. And in the year 2026, there is nothing more important than for God's chosen people to learn the truth of who we are, where we come from, and what our purpose is on this earth. All you brothers and sisters tuning in, if you got family, loved ones, people you care about in the Memphis, Tennessee, and surrounding areas, get them in contact with the ISUPK. If you're not in the Memphis, Tennessee, and surrounding areas, find a UPK school near you, tap in, learn the truth, change your life, become who the Lord calls you to be. And with that, shalom, Israel.